in terms of learning so much different way to showing love, yeah, making movie might be a good option.
Hey everybody, I'm Nick. I'm a director living in Taiwan.
Hey everybody, I'm Luke. I'm a cinematographer living in Taipei, Taiwan.
And today we're going to be talking about Ang Lee's film Eat, Drink, Man, Woman.
我们要讨论李安导演的《饮食男女》。
So this film is the first film, a little personal story, the first Taiwanese film I ever heard of.
Really?
I think a lot of people in America maybe. This is like one of the first film from Taiwan that became really, really famous in America.
And when did you hear this one?
When I was a kid. So this
When you was a
movie,
kid?
yeah, we would, you used to go to the video store,
Yeah.
like the video store to rent films.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, this film, Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, for some reason was always like it was like right. I just remember seeing it set up in the store in like the foreign film section. It was like the one that they were like, oh yeah, this is a great movie. Like it would be on people's like the video store would always have like the people from the video store pick their favorite movies.
Yeah.
And they would like this one was there. I remember.
I thought it might be because this film has got a lot of rewards, so
Yes.
maybe
Yeah,
someone
exactly.
just pick it in the show.
Yeah, I think it got a lot of international traction. I think especially in America, it got a lot of
Right.
like praise, and it was nominated for an Oscar for Best Foreign
But
Film.
it's a more arty film, so for commercial stuff, it's not really popular.
Well, I think to get into the style of the movie, like it draws a nice line between an art film, like a drama, and a popular movie that a wide audience can appreciate. It's like the perfect like American kind of Oscar kind of style of movie. It fits right into that.
Oh.
Where like they like movies that have like a lot of heart, but also have some comedy. It's very watchable, easy to watch. A lot of characters, a lot of really good acting performances. Like that is like the American like art film style. Even though it's
Cool.
To me, it's not really an art film. I don't think.
Okay.
This is more of like a popular film.
More like citizen, more like culture stuff.
Yeah. So Eat, Drink, Man, Woman is like a comedy drama, and it's about a family.
Mm-hmm.
The father is a chef that works at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
What's the hotel called?
圆山饭店.
Yeah, I can't think of the English name of the hotel. Whatever. It's the hotel. I'll show a picture of it.
Yeah, it's a bit huge and famous.
Really
hotel in
famous
Taipei.
hotel. And like when you come over in Taipei, it's like one of the first things you notice because it's on a big hill.
Yeah.
So like when you first come to Taipei, you see like, whoa, what is that building? It looks like a temple.
But yes, it looks like a very traditional building, right?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have a traditional roof, and then you have a lot of different elements in traditional Chinese cultures.
Yeah. So he works there as like the head chef, and he's a really good chef, but he's a very serious man. And every Sunday he has his 3 daughters over, cooks dinner for them, and it's this whole big process.
Yeah.
And they have to eat dinner together, and they all cook together, and they're all about. He's forcing them to do it, and they kind of don't really want to do it, but it's like to him it's really important of like keeping the family together.
Yeah.
The mother's passed away, and it's their way of staying connected. And then the film is about how the daughters kind of move away from the family to kind of go out on their own, find their own husbands, and experience love with other men.
Yeah.
And kind of the dynamic of leaving your father and finding another person in your life.
Yeah.
So it's actually a lot like the play Fiddler on the Roof. Have you ever heard of that, Luke?
The what?
There's a play about it's about a Jewish guy who has 3 daughters and they all find husbands.
No,
It's called Fiddler on the Roof. It's like a really famous musical.
Cool.
So it's actually very similar. So if you like Fiddler on the Roof, you'll really like Eat, Drink, Man, Woman.
Cool. Yeah, because maybe a little, we can, in this story, we can show in the very traditional father and the daughter really change.
1 second.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? I think the interesting thing about Ang Lee as a director is that his visual style isn't very set. He's not very meticulous like other directors about like, oh, the shots are like this. So if you watch a film, this is her name. Justice. If you watch a film, it's not like you can really easily identify through the visuals and through kind of the cinematography, like, oh, this is an Ang Lee film.
No.
It's more, I think he is more concerned about the themes and the characters and the way that people emotionally relate to each other. That is the through line you can see throughout all of Ang Lee's films, like this one and Pushing Hands, and even later films like Hollywood ones that he did, like Crouching Tiger and well, that's not Hollywood, but Life of Pi.
Life of Pi.
Yeah, it's all about like the family dynamic and the emotional connection that people have with each other. That's how you know this is an Ang Lee film. Like that's what he cares about, which I think is really something that people don't pick out of a director as easily. I think a lot of people, when they look at a director's work, they focus a lot on the visual part of it.
Art.
Yeah. And they say like, oh yeah, like Ho Xiaoxian, you're like, oh yeah, he likes long takes.
Long take and
he likes this long lens, this kind of thing. But it's like, but there's another element that you're missing, which is like the emotional connection. And so I think that's really important.
I think Andy worked with a lot of different photographers, and he always has the feasibility of trying to make something new.
Yeah.
Like even his latest film, 双子杀手, is he always trying to adapt with newer technology, like high-speed cameras and 3D stuff. So in a way, he's pretty modern directors, but with very soft and hard-carrying mind inside his head. So I think he's cute and nice director.
Right. Yeah. Like you mentioned, like his personality is so flexible that I think. I don't know, but my guess is that he likes to give the freedom of the image to his cinematographers that he works with, where he's like, I'm not going to try to control that part of it too much. Like what I really want is the emotional component. You know, I don't, you make the film look as you want to look, which I think is, it's kind of a thing that I think in a way is underappreciated.
Right.
You know, we expect like, no, the director should be control every part of it. If it's not, then he's not an auteur. He's not a genius. It's like, well, but he is a genius in other ways.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I really just like you always give me a lot of freedom, like how to take shots. Because it is in cinematography, it's one thing is kind of, sometimes you wish your director tell you what to take shot with, but sometimes you wanted to, hey, let's try different stuff.
Yeah.
So if you give me more freedom, as long as I know also the plots, the scenes, the stories, I would sometimes really feel appreciated, like giving freedom.
Yeah, you want to make sure you give it's a collaboration, right? You want to give the space to the people that you work with, especially if that person you feel like, oh, that person has more expertise in this area. So, for me, I always try to ask like, oh, what do you think?
Yeah.
How do you think this shot should be like? And you can explain it in a way like, this is the feeling that I want for this scene. This is the emotion that I want. What would you do to achieve that?
That's a good example, because you tell me what the feel you wanted to have, like what is the situation right now? Is the girl, the main character sad, or is he doing something really excitement, and you want to reproduce those mentality of the situation, and you give the cinematographer the freedom to represent
like, what way would you show this?
But instead of not telling just what position and what angle you want to take,
which is maybe like the Edward Yang kind of style, where it's like this camera goes here, doesn't move, don't touch it.
Yeah, just showing what to do, and it just similar photographer, just operators. But it just depends. So
I think it
either way is great. I mean,
it's
as long as you work.
Exactly.
So
the film is like another part of it that I really like is the way that he kind of blends the comedy and the drama. Like there's a lot of really funny moments in the film. The characters are really interesting and unique. Like the kind of very religious woman that everybody thinks like never will fall in love, but then she falls in love with the gym teacher.
Away.
Really fast, and gets married like in like a day. And then there's the workaholic woman who is, has a bunch of different boyfriends but then she
eventually decides to
to stay and help the family.
And one thing I feel very impressed is even those characters has so tremendous change, you still feel, well, it's pretty normal. It is acceptable. It's not something you just feel awkward or something you feel doesn't make sense. It always makes sense to you. Like, yeah. Even the teacher seems to be so conservative. Yeah, she might just get married right away. Why not? Why not she?
Well, and I think that
So
speaks to the directing and the character work, because he builds up these characters so well. Every character is a full-formed person that when they do something that is opposite from what you expect, you believe it because you've seen this person develop and change.
So the story is just so well written.
Well, yeah, really well written, really well directed, and really well put together.
Beautiful. So and one story is about the main character, the chef, right? He lost his tongue, like he.
He can't taste. The father can no longer taste. That's the other plot of the kind of subplot of the film. But I think it's a metaphor for
his life, right?
Yeah,
he kind of stuck in his daily life, no change, and he wanted to break through because he loved the younger woman.
Yeah,
but he could not really tell a secret to his daughter.
Yeah,
but at the end, finally, he can, kind of move on to his new life, and he can suddenly taste.
Right. So anyway, I think in going over the film, we kind of jumped around a lot. So you probably heard a lot of different story points. You might be like, what is this movie about? There's all these different things that happen. But that's the great thing about the film, is that there is a lot of different stories and a lot of different things to follow. But it doesn't ever feel confusing. It's like a very well-structured story, and there's a lot to learn from it. So you should definitely check it out, watch it if you're interested in any of the things we're talking about. And the other final point I want to make is that this film, because it was so popular, in America, it allowed Ang Lee to have this great career in Hollywood. Like, this was the film that allowed him to become so successful. Like this, and then Crouching Tiger also, obviously. But I think this was the one that gave him the opportunities, right?
Right.
So I think that I would encourage you guys to keep watching Taiwanese films or films from foreign countries. Like, for example, Parasite won an Oscar in America, and that's going to give Korean directors and Korean people a lot of opportunities. So I hope that you guys will check out Taiwanese films, because you never know, like maybe some great film that you watch here, if it becomes very popular in America, that could give that director an amazing opportunity, to become a successful director in multiple markets. So I think this film is a good example of how that can happen for someone. So, support your local directors in all different areas of the world.
Just all those content creators, all those artists.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter, like, your culture is different from somebody's. Like, the story is something that you can learn from, like stories about family. Even if it's set in Taiwan, you watch it and you're in, I don't know, Lithuania, you're in America, you can really learn something about it. You can say, oh yeah, that's like my dad. So
Annie, he spent a long time in United States, right?
Yeah.
When he graduated from the college, he married a woman, and he just stay at home, carry all those his child or something.
Yeah.
And he take a long time to put out those films. So he has deeply understanding in the difference between West and East culture. Right. So in his very first free feature film, you can tell there's a lot of story between West and East world. And even in this pure Taiwanese, supposed to be Taiwanese film, you can still smell some Western culture stuff.
Right. Well, it's partly financed by a Western company, I think.
Yeah.
So because he went to school at NYU, I think he was able to get some funding from America to film this film, even though it's filmed in Taiwan. And I think half the funding is Taiwanese, but the other half is American.
And also the story I just showed you, the tongue stuff, is come out with the producer, not Anne's idea.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And he just totally changed a lot of different stories because at the end the producer just put out so amazing idea with his tongue lost.
Oh, interesting.
So it add a lot of different layers in this film. So it's always nice to have this different layer of the film, especially you have multiple life experience, the West and the East, and Lee wanted to showing with all his audience with how he feel like. Basically he's telling his father in his first 3 movies. He wanted to talk with his father, like how his father treat him and how he wanted to treat back to his father.
Yeah. So
it's very touching because you can see and he put a lot of effort with it, and he really want to appreciate, say thanks for his father. So it's something. In my opinion, I live in the Eastern culture. Chinese culture is very touching because we always wanted to thanks for our parents for doing a lot of effort for us. It's so hard time to just showing those feel. It's not easy for us. Sometimes it's difficult, but in terms of learning so much different way to showing love, making movie might be a good option.
To show how you care about people. Yeah. Cool.
So yeah.
All right. So if you enjoyed this YouTube video, like, share, subscribe, send to a friend. Please comment with any movies that you want to review. We've gotten a lot of requests and we have those lined up, so we're going to do them. So if you request it, we will try our best to watch that movie and review that movie. So please keep those coming, and thank you for everyone who's watching.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.